Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic landscapes on Earth, the Grand Canyon. For generations, we've marveled at its sheer scale, its layered red rocks telling a story billions of years old. But what if I told you that the story we thought we knew about how the canyon itself was carved is getting a major rewrite? That's right, a groundbreaking new study is challenging everything we've learned, and the real story might be even more epic than we imagined. So, grab your virtual hiking boots, because we're about to journey back in time to uncover the true origin of the Grand Canyon. For decades, the prevailing theory was pretty straightforward. Geologists believed the modern Colorado River began carving the Grand Canyon about 5 to 6 million years ago. It was a simple, elegant story. A powerful river, over a few million years, sliced through the Colorado Plateau like a knife through a cake. This idea became so widely accepted it was taught in textbooks and featured in documentaries. It made sense, right? A mighty river creates a mighty canyon. But nature is rarely that simple, and a few nagging geological puzzles just didn't quite fit this neat picture. For instance, geologists found deposits and landforms that suggested parts of the canyon system were much, much older. They discovered ancient river gravels in places that didn't align with the path of the modern Colorado River. It was like finding clues to a completely different story, one that predated the river we see today. These clues hinted that the Grand Canyon wasn't carved by a single, continuous process, but was perhaps pieced together from older, separate canyons. This controversial idea was known as the Old Canyon hypothesis. The problem was, proving it was incredibly difficult. The evidence was scattered, and connecting the dots was a monumental challenge. This is where our new study comes in. A team of scientists decided to tackle this mystery using a cutting-edge technique called thermochronology. Now, that's a big word, but the concept is brilliantly simple. Think of certain minerals in rocks as tiny, natural thermometers. Specifically, they used a mineral called apatite. When apatite is deep underground, it's hot, but as the rock above it erodes away and it gets closer to the surface, it cools down. By analyzing the chemical signature within these apatite crystals, scientists can determine precisely when the rock cooled to a certain temperature. This, in turn, tells them when the rock was exposed by erosion. It's like a geological timestamp for when the canyon was carved. So, the researchers collected rock samples from all over the Grand Canyon, from its floor to its rim. They were looking for the cooling history locked inside these tiny mineral grains. If the 6-million-year-old river theory was correct, all the samples from the bottom of the canyon should show cooling around the same time, about 6 million years ago. But that's not what they found, not even close. The results were stunning and sent shockwaves through the geological community. The data revealed that different segments of the Grand Canyon have wildly different ages. The western part of the canyon, the part closest to what is now Lake Mead, started forming way back, as early as 70 million years ago. This was during the time of the dinosaurs. This ancient canyon was carved by a completely different river, one that flowed in the opposite direction, from west to east. Can you imagine that? A paleo canyon existed long before the Colorado River even came into being. Then, the thermochronology data showed that the eastern part of the Grand Canyon, near the area known as Marble Canyon, began to form around 25 to 15 million years ago. Again, this was carved by a separate, smaller river system. So now we have two ancient, disconnected canyons. The pieces of the puzzle were on the board, but they still weren't connected. The central part of the canyon, the section most visitors see today, was still a high, uneroded plateau. So what happened? What was the final dramatic event that linked these ancient canyons together and created the single, magnificent Grand Canyon we know and love? This is where the story gets really exciting. The final piece of the puzzle, the event that connected everything, happened just 5 to 6 million years ago. This is the moment the modern Colorado River was born. Through a process known as river capture or stream piracy, the newly forming Colorado River system broke through the high ground separating the two older canyons. Imagine a dam bursting, but on a continental scale. The river rapidly integrated the ancient western and eastern canyons into its own path, carving out the final connecting segments and deepening the entire system. So, the Grand Canyon isn't the work of one river over 6 million years. It's a Frankenstein's monster of canyons, a composite landscape stitched together over 70 million years. It's the product of ancient forgotten rivers, tectonic uplift, and a final, dramatic integration by the Colorado River. The 6 million year date wasn't the beginning of the story. It was the dramatic finale. It was the moment the Grand Canyon as a single, continuous feature was born, but its foundations are far, far older. This new origin story explains so many of the geological oddities that puzzled scientists for years. It explains the ancient river gravels, the varying ages of different canyon sections, and the complex topography of the region. It paints a much more dynamic and complex picture of geological history. It shows us that landscapes we see as permanent and timeless are actually the result of a long and often violent series of events. It's not just a story of slow, steady erosion, but one of dramatic captures, ancient rivers flowing in reverse, and the stitching together of separate geological worlds. So the next time you stand on the rim of the Grand Canyon, or see a photo of its majestic beauty, remember this new story. You're not just looking at the work of one river. You're looking at a 70 million year old saga. You're seeing the ghost of an ancient, westward-flowing river from the age of dinosaurs, combined with another younger canyon, all finally united by the modern Colorado River in a grand geological finale. It's a reminder that our planet is constantly changing, and even its most famous landmarks still have secrets to reveal. The Grand Canyon just got a whole lot grander. Thanks so much for joining me on this incredible geological journey today. If you found this as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that rewrite what we think we know. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Does this new origin story change how you see the Grand Canyon? Until next time, stay curious.